So today we're going to look at perimeter. The perimeter of the square drawn below is 16 centimetres. It's a square and it's 16. And I've underlined those because it's a square, it tells me there's 4 sides. So it must be 16 divided by 4, and that's 4. So I'm going to go to the shape and I'm going to write on 4, 4, 4 and 4. So we always recommend that you do that. It's really going to help with the harder questions. Okay, so below here we've got something called a compound shape, and that just means we've got 2 shapes or more together. Right, so we're going to find the perimeter of this shape, but we don't have 2 separate shapes. We don't have 2 separate squares, sorry. They are joined, which means we're going to lose some of the sides when calculating the new perimeter. So let me show you what I mean by that. I am going to start off with the blob in this corner here, and I am going to travel round the shape in a clockwise direction. And every time I come across a line I know the length of, I'm going to write its number. So if I start at the little blob and I go in a clockwise direction, I know that I've travelled along that line, and from the shape above I know it's a 4. I'm going to carry on and I go along another side exactly the same as the one above, and that is again 4. If I travel down this side, belongs to the square, yes, it's 4. Along the bottom is another 4. Now this is where people go wrong. You do not go up here along this blue line and include the length of that, because that's now inside of the shape. So I'm going to get a rubber and take that away. I'm going to go back to going around the outside, so I need to go along this line here, which again is 4, isn't it? And then up that side, and that is 4. I know I've got to stop now because I've got back to the black blob in that corner. I know I've gone all the way around the outside. So I've travelled round and I've come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4s. So a quick calculation of 6 times 4, and that would be 24. And I would fill it in the little box if it was on Dr. Frost. Okay. Let's try a similar question. This one here. So the perimeter of the equilateral triangle, I'm going to underline that, is 18 centimetres. So I need to know what an equilateral triangle is. And it's a triangle. We all should know that all of the sides are equal in length. So then I can say, okay, they're all equal. I'm just going to divide 18 by 3, which means each side is 6 centimetres. And then I'm going to go to the shape like we did before, and I'm going to write 6, 6 and 6 there. Okay, so down below we've got a compound shape. It's made of 2 of those triangles, and we've now got to find the perimeter. Okay, so I'm going to put a little black blob at the top there. And I am going to show you the route. I'm going to go clockwise again. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to colour that in red. So that's a 6. I get that from the working out above. And now I'm not going to go across the blue line there, am I? Because that's inside the shape. So let's get rid of that. That would be the wrong way. That would be the mistake. So I'm going to come down here, which is a 6. Up there, which is a 6, and then finally another 6. Okay, a little messy there, sorry. I know I've gone all the way round because I've come back to that blob there. So I've actually travelled just 4 times 6, which is 24. 6, 6, 6, and 6. Okay, so So now we're going to find the perimeter of two congruent rectangles. So we need to know what congruent means, and it just means identical. So this rectangle here, which is 3 by 7, is actually the same as this rectangle that's just been placed on its side. So we know that the length of the blue rectangle are 3 by 7 as well. Just going to get rid of those colours before it gets messy. Okay, so I'm going to put a blob here, and I am going to start walking from this blob here all the way around the outside. Before I do that though, I'm going to identify the lengths of the missing sides. So I know the rectangle here has got a width of 3, which means that's 3 as well. So I'm just going to write 3 along there. Looking at the rectangle that's lying down, this is the width of the rectangle that's lying down, so that must be 3. And this one is 3 as well. Okay. The length of the rectangle, I'm going to colour in red, which is 7. So this line here is the length of the rectangle lying down, so that must be 7. And again, this line here is equal in length, and that's 7. So the only line I haven't done is the green one. There you go. So the green one here plus this yellow one here, together they are the same length as this red line over here, aren't they? Because they are the lengths of the rectangle that's standing up. So if the red line is 7 here, then it makes the green line here 7 minus 3, which is obviously equal to 4. So if I just place the 4 here for you, makes it look better. And we can see now that the red 7 is equal to 4 add 3, the green plus the yellow. So I'll get rid of these arrows for us. Now before we go and find the area, the perimeter, I have to remember that the perimeter is the distance around the outside. So I've actually got too many numbers written on the diagram. Can you see which number I shouldn't have written on the diagram? It's got to be this one here, because that is the length of this yellow side, but that length there is not round the outside of the shape, is it? That's a line that's inside the rectangles, so that shouldn't be included, and that's the mistake that people make. So this line here that's not got a colour on it, if you can see, is inside the shape. So let's go for a walk around the outside, and I'm going to do some working out at the same time. So let's start with the blob over here. Let's go for a walk along the yellow, and it's 3. Down the green, which is 4. I'm going to tick off like that once I've included the numbers so we don't get confused. I'm now going to come along the red line, which is 7, so I've just done that one. Down the 3, which is this one, plus another 7, which is this one, plus another 3, which is that one, plus another 7. Have I included all the numbers? I should have included 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should be adding up 7 numbers, and that's what I've got here. So, you know, you might use a calculator, but what happens if we can't find a calculator? So I'm going to say, well, there's 10. 7 and 3 is 10, isn't it? 7 and 3 is another 10. So together there I've got 20, and I've got 3 add 4 is 7, plus the other 7 is 14. So I've actually got 20 plus another 14, which is 34, I believe. Okay, so what did we want to get from this question here? Why are we making mistakes on Dr. Frost? It's because some of us are including, I'm going to colour it in blue, this length in here when finding the perimeter. And that blue line there is inside the shape, isn't it? So we don't want to include the blue line. Okay, next question. The shape below is made of 3 congruent rectangles. Find the perimeter. So these are not harder, they are just longer, that's all. So we just need to do the same thing as we did on the other question. We're going to label the sides, and then we're going to decide which sides we're not going to include in the perimeter. Which ones are not around the outside. Okay, so I am going to colour in this width here 3. I'm going to go round and find all the widths that are 3. So the easiest one I think is this one down here, because it's opposite. So that's 3. So that's the first rectangle done. Can we find any more? Well, I'm going to come to this rectangle over here, this long one. So that is a 3. And then its opposite side will be 3 as well. So I've done the 2 rectangles there, haven't I? Now, looking at the rectangle in the middle, this would be 3, and that would be 3, wouldn't it? So I'm just going to include them for a minute. I'm going to put that because they might help me figure out some of the missing sides. I just don't know yet. Okay, so if we want to get rid of anything in a minute, we'll make that decision. So I think I've done all the widths. Let's have a little look at the length of the rectangle. It's 11. I'm going to go round now and find all the sides that are equal to 11 centimetres. I'm going to come over here to this far rectangle because that's definitely a length of 11, isn't it? I'm going to write 11. And then I'm going to come to the middle rectangle because that's all there. That's definitely 11 there, isn't it? And its opposite side would be 11, of course, as well. So that's 11. Now, the 2 I haven't given a length to. I haven't wrote a number by. I'm going to colour in green because it's not the same length as the red one. It's shorter. And it's definitely not like the yellow one. It's a bit longer. So I'm going to have to do a calculation to find that one out. And this one looks like it's the same down here in green. Okay, so I'm now going to look over here on the left. I know that this side here I'm pointing to is 11, the red one. And its opposite side is made up of green and yellow, isn't it? So the red one has got to be the same length as the green and yellow one combined. So if I know the yellow one is 3 and the total length is 11, then surely the green one is 11 minus 3, which is 8. So that must be there equal to 8. Let's just check. The 8 and the 3 make 11, and it's opposite the red 11, so that must be right. And it's the same down here on the right hand side. Here we've got 11, and here we've got a green plus a 3. So again, that must be 8 as well. Just going to leave that there for a second for you to get a good look at. I'm just going to rub some things out now because it's getting a little bit messy, and we're going to decide what numbers we need to get rid of. We're trying to find the perimeter, which is around the outside, So you're not allowed to go inside the shape at all. So some numbers are not needed, are they? I wonder if you know already before me which numbers are not needed. So come on, let's get rid of some of this mess. I'm going to get rid of this. Leave the 8 there, we can get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of the arrow. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Leave some room for working out. Now, there are 2 sides there that I think are not needed. And it's these 2 here. What do you think? This one here tells me that this little length here is 3. But that's inside our shape, isn't it? So that has got to go. That doesn't need a number on it. That line is inside the shape. Likewise, this one. That's inside the shape as well. So I'm going to get rid of that as well. Now all the numbers I've got now written on the shape should belong around the perimeter, around the outside, and I think they are, aren't they? Okay, so I'm going to start counting. Again, I'm going to come to this blob up here and I'm going to show the examiner how I'm going to find the perimeter. I'm not just going to put all these numbers into the calculator or do some mental maths in case I make a mistake. I'm going to show the examiner that I know what perimeter means by showing that I'm adding all the numbers up, because that's how you're supposed to do it, isn't it? So I walk along clockwise. I am going to say 3, add 8, and I'm going to tick off when I've used the numbers, otherwise I'll probably forget and I might repeat myself. And then I'm going to come along here, which is the 11, and say 11. Okay, are you with me? Let's carry on. Add in another 3. So I'm gonna put the 3 down here underneath the other 3. I think it's going to help me when I'm adding it up in a moment. And I'm going to come down here, which is another 11. That's it there. And then another 3. And an 8. It's getting a bit messy now. Not to worry. Add 11. Add 3. Add 11. Go back and check that you've got enough numbers. So I'm going to quickly do that. I'm going to say I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I should have 10 numbers in my calculation. I'm just going to check I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So what have I got here? So you can use a calculator or you can use mental maths. If I don't have a calculator, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, how many 3s have I got? Got 1, 2, 3. Got 4 3s, which are 12. How many 8s have I got? I've only got 1 and 2. So that would be 16. And I've got how many 11s? 1, 2, 3 and 4. And that's 44. So I've got 12, 16 and 44. Let's add those up together. So we've got 6 and 4 is 10, add 2 is 12, 2 down, carry 1, 1, 2, 3, add 4 is 7. And don't forget your units. And if you've got any more questions about perimeter of compound shapes, you can ask me on Show My Homework, or you can email me. It's Mrs. Weaver. I hope that's made things a little clearer. Okay, well done. Bye.